We've got 2 members already up. We've got Mark and we also got Dave. So what I should do is, if anybody else would like to quickly join us, we'll start the ball rolling. This is G6RH standing by.
Golf 4, Fox Alpha Alpha. Good morning all.
Golf 4 Alpha.
Also, Golf 0 Fox Delta the bar.
Golf 4 Fox Alpha. Alpha. You're down in the log. Anyway, I suppose I would appreciate a sound report because I haven't used this radio for so long. So if it's over deviating or what, but it sounds okay. Anyway, I put down Marcus, who was top of the list, and then it was Dave, then it's you, and who else was in the came up?
G0 Fox Delta the bar. Just finishes breakfast.
G0 Foxtrot Delta Papa. Right, you are now 1, 2. You should be about 4th on the list, excluding me. Anybody else like to quickly join us before we start the net rolling? This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, standing by for any other calls.
Yeah, Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha. Good morning all.
Good morning, I've got you already there, Laura. You're already down the list.
Yeah, Roger, but I'm confused about what the list is. So go over it.
Okay, the list is, it's Mark to start off, then it's Dave, 7IPY, and then it's you, of course, and then it's Frank. There we go after that. So you might as well start the ball rolling, I suppose, and see if Mark wants to come up. Over to you, Mark. Mike 0, Charlie. Oh God, I can never remember your blessed call sign. Oh God. Oh, JCF. Sorry, I do apologise. Mike 0, JCF. Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel.
Yeah, G6NRHM0JCF, returning to the CRAY Valley Sunday morning 2-metre net with Dave in the chair doing what Dave does, and that's getting everyone's call signs back to front. But we don't mind because we all know who we are. But thanks for bringing us in, Dave. Yeah, not long been out for a walk. Me and my good lady wife took my daughter's dog down for a walk at a park towards Sidcup proper, rather than my end of Sidcup, near the Rose Bruford College. Nice big lake there, lots of ducks and other birds and that, and we fed him as we always do, let the dog run riot, and he's never going to catch one. Yeah, so we've just been out from that, got back. I was just about to empty the washing machine and I noticed it was about 2 minutes to 10, so I'd had the radio switched on actually before we went for a walk, and just to get it warmed up and to stop the various noises it makes on first switch on. It's the FT-290R. It's the one I got a couple of weeks ago that I made a 10 quid donation to the air ambulance. A little bit of tuning and fettling and prodding with a soldering iron has got it sort of working. I'm going for a little, I think it's microwave modules, this one, little amplifier. When I first called in, it was 25 watts. Now I'm down to about 12 watts. The radio is a little bit iffy on its output. Sometimes it's 2.5 watts, sometimes it's 1.5 watts, and but never mind, you know, it is what it is, you know. It's a radio that's over 40 years old going into an amplifier that's probably of a similar age, if not genre, into the collinear. So that's the story. HF wise, what have I been doing this week? Not a lot of HF this week. I've sort of just been doing other things, mainly clearing out the garage. I can actually sweep through the garage now from one end to the other. I've got rid of a lot of hardware and a lot of bits and pieces. But the claim to fame for me this week is I worked South Sudan which I didn't even realise was a country. I knew Sudan was a country. I didn't realise it was fragmented into now South Sudan. I don't know when South Sudan come in. I suppose I could Google it, but that wouldn't make very good conversation if I already know. But one of you old timers might actually know more about South Sudan than me. But anyway, worked South Sudan on 10 metres. It was the usual pile up. I caught him quite by accident. I was tuning through 10 metres on the IC 7300, and I heard this complete zoo on several spot frequencies that told me, it's going to be a de-expedition or a rarer country or whatever, and I suspected it was going to be like the Cook Islands or one of them, because I think Nobby or someone like that was reporting that they were up, but it wasn't. It was South Sudan. I thought never even realised it was a country, let alone worked it. So I got him in the log, so I was quite pleased with that. Ticked another box from the African contingent. Still missing a few Africans, but I've got most of the big countries in Africa. Missing Egypt, funnily enough, which is right up there within the first hop range, I would imagine, like the rest of the Middle East. But anyway, missing Angola, and a few of them around the eastern side, Eritrea, that sort of thing. So that's it really. Not a lot more to report. Reports for everyone. Bearing in mind this radio has got a permanently pegged to the right needle on receive. You're all your usual 5 and 9s, 5 and 8s, whatever. And your audio is absolutely fine with everyone. So can't complain on that. I'm recording this session as always, unless anything's come up where I think to myself, do you know what, we don't need the world to know that outside of 2 metres. So it will be on YouTube, so you can all sort of give yourselves an idea if you want to have a quick flick through as to what's going on. Just looking around the garage to see if anything sort of... Oh, there is one thing. I'm going to start now taking a look at my Eddystone 940. The tuning dial doesn't move. It spins nicely, but they suffer with gearbox problems on these. So it's probably a combination of gearbox and I think maybe the pointer string has finally snapped where I've been trying to force it a while ago. I've got that in my AR88 that needs to get on the bench. But really what I need to get out of the way first is Dave G4 Now. I need to get his TS940S off the bench. I've been using that actually. It's on the bench, and so I've been taking advantage of using it. Well, that was a long enough over. I'm going to empty out the washing machine, grab myself a cup of coffee, so I might miss anyone coming back to me. Oh, that was the other one that's come up, isn't it? Mount Athos. Apparently Mount Athos, that little enclave of monasteries in Greece, apparently that's now up for the next week or so. So expect mental zoo-like behaviour on the HF bands. So whether I'll get it, I'll get it if the opportunity's there. I'm not going to bust a gut, same as I don't with the expeditions or any other rarities. Right, rabbiting over. It's around to Dave, the hippie himself, the bearded one, Mike 7, India Papa Yankee. This is M0 JCF.
Everyone here, radio reports, everyone is 5'9". Laurie is the strongest I've ever heard him, and the clearest I've ever heard him. Atmospheric, I don't know, temperature, Lord knows, I don't know. But whatever it is, Laurie is working wonderfully, and keep doing it. Everyone else say 5'9". Mark is end stopping me. Right there, so some digital bar graph. You can't get more signal than that. Not even Spinal Tap could get one higher than that. So superb. I've just looked up an Eddystone 940. Blimey, that's a bit of a beast, isn't it? I'm taking that's a receive only, radio receiver, and there's one on eBay for nearly 300 quid. So definitely, oh no, it's 990R. So definitely worth looking into that one. Sounds superb.
2. G0FCP to take. Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha. Over. Yep, good morning, Laurie. G4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha and the rest of the group this morning. I am now actually running, I'm still indoors actually, up in the dining room actually, with a little Alinco radio, which is running roughly around about 3 watts. It's on battery power, but I've got my half-wave antenna on it so we can get out fairly good with that particular aerial. So that's what I'm on at the moment. I've been sorting it out, and I'm not using the ICO3E. I put that to one side, and I thought I'd give the Alinco a bit of a run and see how that goes, because it's not been used for some time, but now it's actually working. I'm using actually as well, rather than using the mic on the radio, I'm using the mic as this mic, which I can use on either the Alinco or the ICO23E. I can either use a mic on either. Both the connections are both the same, so I am using now the microphone what I would normally use on the ICO3E. But at the moment I'm using it on the Alinco. And I thought to myself, well, I'll get it out of the box and see how it goes. And at the moment I've actually got 6, because it's running on 6AA batteries at the moment, so it's roughly about, what, 6, that's 2, 3, about 6 watts, 6 amp power there, with about 3 watts maximum on the high power. Put it down to high to low, I'll probably only get half a watt, so I'll just have a quick check to see if we are on the high power. And it seems to be okay at the moment, so at least you've heard me, Laurie, so at least it's getting down to the lower part of Sidcup. And I presume Dave, the bass, is probably hearing me as well, because he's over the other side past Dave, G6NOH is past further than David, so hopefully you get me okay, Dave. And I will put it back there to our leader. I've got some things downstairs in the hall for you, Dave the bass, and when we go to the club on Thursday, I'll bring them round for you. G6 NOH, Dave, it's back to you from G0FCP, still in the dining room on a fist mic.
G0 Foxtrot Delta Park, Gold 6 November Romeo Hotel. Lovely signal. I mean, God, for a battery powered radio, it's really beaming down here, mate. You're doing the windows in. The same with you, Laurie. Your signal is great. So I'm glad you sorted it all out, because you were starting to worry what had happened to you when we did like doing the 2 meter check after the 4 meter net on Friday. But yeah, it's really a fine vessel. Well, everybody is. You're all 5 and 9. There's no difference. In fact, maybe it should be slightly over. I just wonder how this radio sounds to me, because I've using the old, my old radio I used to use ages ago, which is the FT-290R, with a heritage microphone. It's one of these with the show chrome, and it's got a boom stand and God knows what else. But it seems to be doing the business, so I'm hoping it's not too bad, because they're not really matched up apparently for this radio, because this one uses a different system. It was mainly for sort of capacitive loads, so it might be slightly out of balance, but I've never had any problems with it. Before I start waffling on too much, just see if anybody else would like to quickly join us. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, G6NOH. See if would like to join us for the CRAY Valley 2 meter Sunday morning net, which started at 10 o'clock. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Standing by for any calls. Nothing heard so far, so I might as well quickly pass it back round to Mark. I know he's supposed to be sorting out the washing, etc. I was up at 6:30 taking the dog for a walk. It was a bit cold, and you could see all the frost on the cars. But it was quite enjoyable actually. I'm a bit weird in that sense. I don't mind doing it, even though I've been suffering with the cold. But yeah, it's nice. With that, I'll quickly pass it over to Mark. If Mark's not ready, go straight over to Dave.
Yeah, G6 on HM0JCF in the group. Right, I missed Dave, IPY. I missed Laurie, FAA. If you had anything to say in particular about South Sudan, I think that was one of the things. And then, of course, I mentioned a few other DX stations, so I missed that. But I've got it recorded. I can always watch it later if there's you know, any need to. I can hear Frank absolutely no problem, but then, you know, he's sort of just up the hill from me. And so I think, you know, me and Frank have worked each other, actually. We did an experiment after the 2 metre net some years ago now. And I was running something like 1 watt into a dummy load, a homemade dummy load, which wasn't shielded. And we had a conversation via my dummy load. So that gives you an idea. I mean, as the crow flies, we're probably... I would say a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile as the crow flies between me and Frank. And as I say, was talking to him on a dummy load. That wasn't on an old TR-2200 or something like that. You know, I know it was a little portable radio, like the one I'm using now, but only FM only. Only FM only. I'm sure the grammatical police, the grammar police are going to come at me with that one. But anyway, just he says filling in time, padding out because he doesn't like dead air, and forgot what he was going on about. Yeah, yeah, I think I bought that off of either Slim or Smudge's silent key sale. And that was an interesting one that made me think how people can miss a trick. You know, when we did the last sale, and you know, like the last auction, and there was a table there where, you know, you donate bits and all the money goes into the coffee tin. One of the things I donated was a pure DAB radio, but it's a handheld, fist-sized, microphone-sized radio. And I just assumed, I got this in a big box of gear years ago, and I just assumed it was a DAB radio, a pocket DAB radio, which I've got several. I had no need for it. And, you know, I left it there, you know, and if somebody wanted to bung 10p in the coffee jar, they could have had what turned out to be a little bit of a rough diamond in the mix. On Friday, I was having a search out through the garage, and because no one had bought it or taken it or whatever, I was forced to take all my crap back home. So I took it back home and I saw it there, and I thought to myself, there's something a bit odd about this radio. So anyway, I realised it's an FM transmitter as well. So it's a DAB receiver, but an FM transmitter. And I powered it up with 5 volts and stuck a little aerial in it, and blow me down, it's a DAB radio that retransmits in FM. So if you've got an older car like me, I've got a Nissan Qashqai 2009, which has got an FM radio CD player and Bluetooth, etc. But the Bluetooth's only for the phone. And I thought to myself, well, let's have a go at this. And sure enough, it receives DAB, retransmits on a spare frequency in the car. I think the transmitter's got a range of about, I don't know, 6 feet. And yeah, so I've now got a DAB radio in my old car. And I was going to buy a DAB radio a little while ago. I like things like Radio 4 Extra. You know, I like those stations where, you know, it's more talk, less music, and they have old time plays and shows and stuff like that. And when I'm driving any distance, say I'm going to my mum's, so, you know, I like to listen to that. So anyway, I've now got a DAB radio. So, you know, all those that looked at it and thought, I ain't paying 10p for that into the coffee tin, you missed a trick there, because it turned out actually it was a lot more useful. Of course, the other side of the coin is that most people have probably got DAB radios in their car, and it was a moot point. And they might have been thinking, well, why is Mark giving it away? Probably because it don't work. Round to you, Dave, M7 IPY M0 JCF in the group.
IPY returning. Mark, just for your information, as your QSO went along, there was an increasing level of buzz in the background. I don't know if it's something drawing more current or smoothing caps or regulation breaking down. But if you listen on your recording, you'll hear it gradually as time went on. Like a couple of minutes on your over. There was like a buzz. It sounds like a rectification buzz, 100 hertz. Just in case you wanted to know. Well done on getting into South Sudan. I didn't know it was broken up into different countries as well. That Mount Athos, I might give that a go if I get out mobile again this week. It has been a really, really, really good week for me. I went out, it was Tuesday. I looked it up and I did the most contacts that I've done in one day. I did 19 contacts, and they were, I hope everyone's taking notes, Greece, Canada, Russia, Greece again, and then I went Crete. That was the first one for me. Canada, which was awesome. I got VE3 LOE on 10 metres. Then Italy, France, Italy, Poland, and then Herne Bay, which was wonderful, which is line of sight from where I parked. And then Poland, Arthur in Poland, SP5 APT. He was great. And then I swapped down to 80 metres using our Frank. Thank you again, Frank, for the offer of the Magman and the mast. That's superb. Yes, please. If you can bring them along to the club shack, that'd be awesome. And I'll meet up with you not this Thursday. I think it's next Thursday, isn't it? Because it's going to be about the 3rd or 4th Thursday in the month. So so I think it's the first Thursday in February that we're all due to meet up. And then the final one, I got into Germany, and Spain, which is great. I really, really enjoyed doing those. I had some brilliant times sitting out in that car. And then I got another English person, over in Essex, a couple over at Danbury, a couple of fellas I was talking to in Danbury, on AM, which is great, which they said that my audio on AM, using the FT-857, of which our Dave, G6NRH, your 857 is working absolutely fine, and there's nothing wrong with that mic and radio combination to my ears, Dave, to my ears. Other information, Laurie asked, what does ATNO stand for? I had to look this one up. ATNO, Alpha Tango November Oscar, stands for All Time New One. I'll say that again, All Time New One, as in it's a station that you've never worked before, not has anyone ever worked before, but I think it's known as ATNO, ATNO, All Time New One. I had to look it up on Google, because what are they going on about? All these young kids with their modern hip talk. So that was awesome. Frank's little handheld G0FDP. Yep, you're getting down to Dartford, absolutely no problem, Frank. I think you got about 3 milliwatts or whatever it is, and you're still 5'9" here. You're about plus 20. The meter here goes up to plus 30, plus 40. But you're good plus 10, plus 20, even with your couple of watts on a handheld. So don't worry about going out into the cold garden or wherever it is you want, where you want. The Anderson shelter, it's absolutely fine. Stay in the warm, because it's definitely working. I'll pass this now around to our Laurie, who, unlike me, can get on 60 metres, because he's got a full licence. I'm not allowed on 60 metres until I'm a grown-up and I'm in long trousers. So until I pass my full licence, I can get on 60 metres, I believe. So from M7IPY, I was passing the mic over to G4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha.
Yeah, with a board, M7IPY, Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha. Okay, folks, we'll now reduce the power from 90 watts in this case to 4 watts at the shack. It's still on the vertical area, so I'd appreciate signal strength support next time round. If you stand by one, I'll actually switch to my 7-element horizontal Yagi, which is looking west from the QTH at the moment, and give a quick 1 to 9, and perhaps you could comment on test 2. Stand by. Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Back to vertical. So test 2 was 4 watts to an 8 dB gain. horizontal Yagi looking west from North CRAY. Okie dokie. To you, Dave One. Yeah, I need to give you a ring about my FT-290 and have a chat about CW progress. There hasn't been a lot of this end, but there we go. What's new? Oh yeah, I think it was JCF was talking about his Eddystone. Yeah, the one I had recently, which I plugged on eBay because I couldn't fix it. The drive cord, as we called it, was actually a very fine wire, and it had snapped. And the pulleys were still intact, but it was beyond me to fix these days, of eyesight mostly, and dexterity, and I plugged it on eBay and got a good price for it. But there we go. What else? South Sudan. Okay, well, very briefly, Ken, about 15 or 20 years ago, Sudan was one country that was administered mostly by Egypt, but due to tribal difficulties in that part of the world, what's new, folks? They decided to split the country into two, north and south, and that worked for a while, but about 4 or 5 years ago, in the south, a military group staged a coup, and the country, the South Sudan, has been in turmoil ever since. I think the United Nations is doing what it can with some peacekeepers and with humanitarian aid, but as is typical now, as we found out, we're not supposed to talk politics, but everyone knows what the hell is going on in Lebanon and Gaza at the moment. It's a typical of modern Middle East politics. The rival groups can't agree at the same time, swearing that they want to be a democratic republic. Right, so that's the setup. I think South Sudan now has a different call sign designator from the north. You never hear anyone amicably from the north, but occasionally you get a bit of south, mostly on 20 metres. Right, that's enough of that. Pass it on. Still using 4 watts to the vertical, but I would appreciate if people can comment on A, the signal level, and B, whether they could hear me on test 2 using the Yagi. G0 FTP to take, Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha, over.
Yep, okay there, Laurie. G4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha, G0 Foxtrot Delta Bar. Well, on that last transmission of yours, Laurie, your signal went down from a lovely straight signal to start with, no problem at all. This time it's gone down a little bit. I still hear what you're saying. There's a bit more crackling in the background, which obviously means you're not running quite as much power as you were running before. If you're only running 4 watts, well, I can still hear you. That's the main thing about it, at any rate. So 4 watts is okay. Well, at the moment, I'm just still on my little Linko at the moment. So I'm set up in the dining room at the moment. I'm on a Linko D4F1. That's what it is. It's a radio which I got some years ago now, which you can, in actual fact, retune it and actually tune it into the airbands frequencies as well, which means pushing a few buttons here and a few buttons there to get the airband up. But at the moment, I've actually retuned it back now to the amateur band, so that at least I don't hear the aircraft on it anymore. But I used to listen to the aircraft on it, but not anymore at the moment. I can listen to that on my laptop, the airband, but at least at the moment I'm on the Alinco still, running about 3 watts. Well, let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1.5 volt batteries in it, so that's 3, 6. Now it's 9 volts of power, but it's running high power on the actual Alinco itself. If I push the little button which it says low, I'm not quite sure, it's probably half a watt, something like that, but I don't think we'll do that because I know probably Mark could hear me on half a watt, but
Whether Dave the bass would hear me on half or what, or yourself, Laurie, I'm not sure. Maybe not Dave either. NRH would probably not hear me on half or what, because I'm sitting here in the dining room with the little Inco sitting on the dining room table, and we're only one floor up from the ground, so at least it gets me out fairly well on the half-wave antenna. Now, if I put the ordinary, just a little standard rubber duck on it, you probably wouldn't hear me at all very well. But as I've got this half-wave, it comes in very handy on occasion, so that I can use that on most of my little handhelds and get out fairly well on it. Because I know when we used to go down to the windmill down at Metham, we used to use it down there, and it's quite interesting down there when we was using it down there. Because Metham windmills are fairly high up, not as high as where Dave RGS is, but it's fairly high down there, especially when you get up into the top of the windmill there and work it from there. But that's the reason for that. Anyway, I'll stay on my little handheld at the moment, so save me going downstairs and sitting in the cold hallway at the moment. So I'm sticking up here in the lounge where I've had my breakfast. So at least I'm warmer up here at the moment, and it's a lot easier with this fist mark. It's been a bit awkward if I'm not using a fist mark, because then I'll have to actually hold the little rig itself, and with a half wave on it, it's a bit awkward. But with the fist mark, I can just sit the little rig down on the table there, and then talk through the fist mic, which in actual fact is an Icon microphone, which I did get for the other radio which I use, but at the moment this works on the Alinco as well. Anyway, that's enough for me at the moment, and I know the mark's not very far away from me. It's probably about just about half a mile mark, something like that. I know I used to walk from home here down to my son's or my granddaughter's, which is about 1.25 miles to 1.5 miles away, and that's just down by the Black Fen there, so that's about how far I used to walk from here. So it used to take me about half an hour to walk, but I can't walk down there anymore now. That's the only thing about that. Right, I've had enough waffle, and maybe Dave, if you've put it back, if I put it back too, maybe Samuel is waiting to come in as well and have a chat as well on there to me and there. Back to you, Dave. G6 NRH, G0 FTP.
Yeah, G0 FTP, G6 NRH returning. Yeah, all copied there, mate. Could you quickly switch the rig down to about half a watt? I'll be interested to see if I can actually work you. Back to you, G0 Foxtrot Delta for Pal, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Did you get that, Frank? G0 Foxtrot Delta for Pal, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Unless I've done something drastically wrong, but anyway, Laurie, you were called into the S meter on here. You were 5 and what? About 4 and 5, so 5/5, but to my ears they were perfect. I couldn't differentiate between the two. But when you looked at the meter, it was showing you definitely low power than you were before. It was definitely F9. But anyway, there we go. I'll give a quick shout out to see if anybody else wants to quickly join us. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel for the CRAY Valley 2-meter Sunday morning net. Would anybody else like to quickly join us? You don't have to be a CRAY Valley member. This is open to all amateurs. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, standing by for any call.
Break, Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha.
Go on, break.
Yeah, okay. So from Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha, Dave, you gave me a signal report, but was that test 1 or test 2, over?
That was for test 2. Test 1 was about 5, and then test 2 is about S2. But to be perfectly honest, your audio is coming over could have a little play and see if it worked. But Frank didn't come back to me unless he did and I couldn't hear him. Anyway, with that, I shall quickly pass it over to over to you, Mark. M0 JCF Golf 6 November Romeo in the group.
Yeah, G6RH M0JCF. Thanks for the report, Dave, on the buzz. No idea on that. I'm up to 25 watts again. That might be the reason. Maybe the power went from 10 to 25 watts, and that's what we're hearing. I'm actually using a switch mode power supply, a little brick for the linear, and I'm using a little wall wart type linear power supply for the rig. It's all a bit of a mismatch, you know, just using what I've got rather than using, in inverted commas, the correct gear. Laurie, not Frank, Laurie, G4 FAA, I could hear you, radio 5, no problem, on 4 watts, and likewise on the Yagi. I can't give you a subjective signal report though, Laurie, because yeah, my needle's at full peg. One of those little things that I've got to fix on the radio. I pretty much know what that one is. I just haven't got round to it. I'm more sort of using the radio at the moment before I delve in there and possibly make it unusable, which has happened to me in the past. What I have done as well, I've swapped microphones. Now, I've been using the proper Yaesu microphone. That's the MH, I think it was the MH10 is the standard microphone for these. But this radio come with a brand new Technofix aftermarket microphone, and I've just plugged that one in. I'm expecting the audio quality to be different, possibly not. Eddistones. Yeah, I've had a few Eddistones over the years. I love Eddistones. I just love the name Eddystone, to be honest, but they are quite handsome receivers, always have been. And as I say, I've had a few back in the day. Probably the worst one I had, but the most modern one, was the Eddystone EC10, which was a transistorized one, I think. It wasn't the most brilliant receiver. Some of the older receivers, the big old boat anchors, you know, that they perform so much better, but this one I only paid 50 quid for it, and it all seems complete, including the speaker on the bottom. So I'll get round to it at some point now. That's sort of next in line, and along with the AR88, which is in a sorry state visually, case wise. Front panel's lovely, and inside seems to be okay, but I haven't powered that one up, and I only paid about 40 quid for that. And those AR88s go for some serious money. I think this is even my 3rd or 4th AR88 that I've had. And you know, the first one I had in the late 70s, I think we paid about 5 quid for it. You couldn't give them away back in the day. Now, you know, for one that's working, is clean and tidy and unmodified, now they're asking upwards of 300 quid for them, which, you know, my nostalgia doesn't run that deep in my pockets, I'm afraid. One other noise you might hear in the background is a tumble dryer. You know, we very rarely use a tumble dryer, but because it's a bit of a damp day and we had lots of smalls in the last load of wash, so we decided that the bigger stuff's hanging out on the line for what it's worth, and the smalls are in the tumble dryer. Now, that tumble dryer my wife and I bought when we bought our first house in 1994. So there you go. It's 30 years old and it's still working. It's never had any repairs, still gives good temperature, doesn't, you know, the bearings haven't gone or anything. I say it doesn't get used often, probably like once a week if you're lucky in the winter, never any other time unless there's an emergency, you know, you've got something that's got to be dried yesterday, then the tumble dryer would go on. I'm sure that after 30 years, compared to modern tumble dryers, its efficiency is probably down the pan. I don't know. There's not a lot in them, as there is a motor, a timer and a heating element. But there you go. It's all fun and games. But you might hear that whirring in the background. That was one of the things I thought of when Dave said, oh, I can hear a buzz. Interesting, Dave, you said, if I listen to it on my video, I'll hear it. Well, I won't, will I? because I'm the one who's making the video and talking, so you know I won't be hearing it come back. And somebody's just WhatsApped me. Is it someone on this group? I don't know. Probably telling me I've disappeared. So I'll hand it round to you, Dave. M7IPYM0JCF.
Right.
Go on, go with the break.
Yeah, it's just M0JCF G6MOH. You are creating noise. It's definitely coming. It's not your washing machine, mate. That hum is definitely getting louder, and it only happens when you're actually transmitting. So, and Dave will most probably tell you as well. With that, I'll quickly pass it back to Dave. M7IPY G6NRH.
G6NRH of the group, M7IPY returning. Yeah, Mark, that was me. I just did. I did one of the little videos. I've turned into you, and I've recorded a little video. It's only 15 seconds long, so easy to send over Wi-Fi on WhatsApp. That's the you can hear the hum coming up. The longer the QSO goes on, the louder, more intrusive the buzz gets. I mean, it's still totally readable, and your end stop to me, as you'll see in that little video, no problem there. Audio with that mic that you just used, the audio slightly coarser, but again, still super readable, as you're hearing that video. I also did one for our Frank, G0FDP. I've just sent him a little video, so he can hear what his little handheld on. I think Frank said it was 4 watts. Getting out to Dartford is pretty much end stop to me, and again super clear. So I think it amazing. Like with VHF, it really is your geographical position seems to have so much effect on what you're doing. Higher frequencies, more line of sight, I believe. If M7 lessons still, are still embedded in my brain. But hey, it was really interesting to hear all the different power levels. Going back to our Laurie, I don't know if you got my message first of all, but you asked, Laurie asked about ATNO, the abbreviation ATNO. That was all-time new one, which refers to a call sign that no one's ever worked before, I believe. I think that's what Nobby and Bob were getting excited about, because there's a new station that hasn't come on for many years, or it's the first time it's been activated, but I think that's known as an ATNO, all-time new one. Laurie wanted some radio reports. When you drop down to 4, so example 1, which is when you drop to 4 watts on the collinear, you drop to 5.5 with me, Laurie. Before you were a very good 5.9, say plus 10, plus 20, but you dropped down to about a 5.5, and then when you switched over to the Yagi, I'd give you a 2x2. I could tell something was there, and I got the occasional word, but you certainly I couldn't work out like the full context of what you were saying. So I judged that unprofessionally as a 2-2. I hope that helps. Let's now pass it round to our Frank, G0FDP from Mike 7IPY in the group.
Yeah, okay then, Dave, the base, and it's supposed to go to Laurie, G4 Fox Alpha Alpha, but never mind. Just a little comment here, Dave. He wanted me to work my little handheld on half a watt. Well, I pushed the wrong button. That's probably why he never heard anything from me. So I'll put it back round now. It should go to G4 Fox Alpha Alpha. Over to you, Laurie. You can still hear me, hopefully, from G0FDP.
Yeah, Roger, from Golf 4 Fox Alpha Alpha. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to be back on the air again alongside the workshop. Yes, okay, well thanks for the test, folks. Test 2 on the Yagi, well that makes sense, would be 20 dBs of cross polarization loss anyway if you're all listening vertical. And then the front to back ratio on the 7 Yagi is probably another 20 dB, hopefully at least. So that's 40 dB difference between 4 watts on the vertical and 4 watts on the horizontal. So I'm not surprising that Dave IPY couldn't read me. But there we go. At least it proves that both are working, and the overhaul of the VHF shack, which is upstairs, was a success following the fiasco tail end of 4 metres on Friday night. Right, now then, how are we doing on time? Gosh, romping on as usual. I better pass it round to you, Frank, to have a genuine over. G0 FTP in Eltham to take Golf 4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha in North CRAY, over.
G6 iron, you listening? Yep, okay, Larry. G4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha from G0 FTP. Your signal there must be round about, as Dave the bass was saying, 2 by 2 or probably 1 by 1 to me, because you're very noisy. I can just hear what you're saying on that particular over, so go back to where you were before, and it was a lovely signal, as they first said when we came up on the net to start with. You had a lovely signal. Mind you, it was probably because you was working on a vertical with about 90 watts, which is, for you down there, is a good signal from down there. But at least where you are now, it's very noisy and crackly. That's the only thing. I can still hear what you're saying. That's the main thing about it. Still hear your audio itself, but the signal strength is very crackly and noisy. Right. Okay. Right. I'm just trying to figure what I was saying now. Right now, I'm still on the Alinco, yeah. But as Dave was saying, try it half a watt. Well, I pushed the button where it says PO, and I must have pushed the wrong button. And when I looked at it, the frequency was going mad. And no wonder you couldn't hear me. I couldn't transmit on the frequency was going because it was dancing around there like nobody's business. So I had to stop that and go back to the proper frequency which we're on now. So that if I push the PO button again, I don't know what will happen. I better leave it for the moment because it's a bit awkward to see because I've got it standing up on the table. I can't see exactly what the frequency is on the screen at the moment. It's quite small, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons to the right, 2 buttons to the left, and a lot of buttons at the bottom. So at the moment, I'm not quite sure which one I'm pushing. So I'll leave it to that at the moment, Dave. So you won't be able to hear me on half a watt because I can't find half a watt just yet at the moment. So I'll have to leave it like that. Anyway, I heard Dave saying you sent me a little message on the WhatsApp about my transmission on my little handheld, which is an Alinco, as I said, it's an Alinco Delta Julia Foxtrot 1. That's what the make of it is. And I've got the box upstairs, got all the wiring and diagrams still for it and everything like that, which I've had a look at, but it's stuck away in the cupboard at the moment, so I'll put it away. Right, okie doke, right, what's the time? Well, we'll put it back round to you then, Dave, G6NRH, and if you look around now on the weather today, around about 12 o'clock, it's going to be starting to rain, so if you're going anywhere, go before 12. Over to you, Dave, G6NRH, G0FTP.
G0FTP, G6NRH. I thought it was the brakes that came up. The station that came up just before Frank. Do you want to have a quick over?
Hello there, Dave. It's G6INU, Dave, and Doug is the name I'm sure you know. And everybody's 5 and 9. Frank is about 5 and 5 on his handheld. So yeah, it's G6INU, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh, G6INU. Good morning, Doug. You sounded really nice, mate. 5 and 9. Bit on the soft side, but definitely making a little trip. I know you're not a million miles away. You're only in Sidcup. But it's nice that, you know, you're always welcome to join us, mate. And I've got you down in the log. Anyway, hopefully things are all okay your end, as they are here. And I wish you Happy New Year. I don't know if I wished you that last time, because I don't know if the last time we spoke, was it before the New Year or whenever? But anyway, I've done it now, so it's not going to hurt doing it again. But nice to hear you, Doug. Right, well, do you want to have a quick over before I pass it on to Mark? G6INU, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel.
G6 November Romeo Hotel, Golf 6 India November Union. Okay, Dave, yeah. I'm on a walk soon. I'm running about 50 watts actually, so at the moment, I think. So that's what we're up to at the moment. It's into the outside Slim Jim, Laurie's absolutely end stop. It's just across the water from me, and Dave, IPY and Mike 7 IPY is absolutely end stop. So everybody's a good signal. So Frank's about 5 and 5. So not surprising, probably with the handheld there. Anyway, I'll put it round to you, Frank. G0F I hope I got around the right way, Frank. Go.
Okay there, Doug, G6INU from G0FDP. Yeah, I'm running around about 4 watts on this handheld. It's got a half-wave antenna on it. It's sitting on the dining room table at the moment. And I think, looking from where I am down to you in Sidcup, it's not a lot in the way down at that way. It looks out the front of my house, through the great big window, through the trees and down towards Sidcup. But when I look over towards Dartford, it's going through the building itself. But it still gets through okay. And well, at the moment, I've been running that handheld for a little while at the moment, and I'm just wondering how long the batteries are going to last, because they're the AA batteries on there. You can put rechargeables in there, but at the moment I'm using double AA batteries at the moment. And of course, with a set of batteries, it makes these little handhelds fairly heavy, and it's quite nice. It's dinky, you know, like when you get your little old mobile phone. Remember the old mobile phones you used to get? It's about that size, something like that, and it's got a lot on it, and it can be transferred to aircraft if you need to be, and you can transfer it back again if you want to have it that way round. So that's what I've done with mine. Anyway, I'm sure I can hear you okay, Doug. Bit crackly, about the same sort of transmission noises Laurie's got, FWA. It's the same sort of crackly noise there, but I can hear what you're saying, no problem at all there, Doug. So thanks for calling, and then I'll put it back to our leader, G6NRH. Over to you, Dave, from G0FDP.
G0FDP, G6NRH returning, yeah, all copied there, Frank. Now, I should quickly go over to Mark, because it's coming on to the time. Over to you, Mark, M0JCF, Golf 6, November, Romeo Hotel.
G6NRH, M0JCF with accompanying buzz, I'm sure. Very good morning to you, Doug. Makes a change not to be talking to you on 40 metres with all the Europeans. And nice to hear you on 2 metres. I think we have worked 2 metres in the past, possibly when I was a 2E0. But anyway, thanks for the updates on the buzz. Yeah, it's just one of those many things with this radio that I've got to sort out. We'll get there eventually. Also, thanks for the video, Dave. I will tag that onto the end of this one when I've had a watch of it. Laurie, you was asking about the call signs for South Sudan. Well, the one that I worked was Zulu 81 Zulu. So I don't know if that's a one-off, a special, or if the Zulu 81 is like their call sign, seeing as there's only one letter at the end. I take it there's not too many, but Zulu 81 Zulu is the one that I worked. And another thing as well, Dave, M7IPY, you continually refer to yourself as a newbie. Well, you need to stop that now, don't you? Because you're not anymore. You know, you've had the licence long enough. You're an old duffer like the rest of us now, because, of course, the age gives it away as well. But that's a tongue-in-cheek comment. Well, everyone, so long as the buzz isn't overtaken me, I'm going to wish everyone best 73. Have a great Sunday, what's left of it. We're 3/4 of the way through the weekend for those that have to go to work on Monday. And for the rest of us, every day's a Sunday. But we're just looking now for the spring. Walking around the last couple of mornings, I've noticed the daffodils coming up. It's January and daffodils are pushing their way through. Lots of green daffodil leaves. And this morning I remarked to my wife that, you know, I saw the first daffodil head, you know, flower head this morning. Not in life, not yellow, but the bulb shape was there. So definitely the daffodils are normally sort of February onwards, aren't they, along with the snowdrops and then the crocuses. So I would imagine that in the next few weeks we'll start seeing spring proper, flower-wise, that is. I was out last week actually pulling up all my old geraniums that the last lot of frost finally killed off what was left of the green. And a childhood smell, geranium leaves. I do love the smell of geranium leaves. Very, very distinctive, and I do like it. But there you go. Well, I'm going to make this my last, as I say, 73. And everyone take care. Oh, Dave, G6NRH, I did meant to tell you that radio, great audio on it, if a little bit too great. Yours is the only one that I really have to turn down the volume control. Everyone else is sort of equal. Yours is particularly loud. Now, there's not a lot anyone can do about that other than tell you, that you're loud. And I think you're only loud because you're in a group. If you was just, if I was just talking to you one to one, obviously I'd had my volume control set at A level. Because we're in a group, your one is the one that I do now and again, like back off the volume control slightly. So that gives you an idea. Other than that, no problems. Cheers, everyone, and bye-bye for now. Over to you, M7IPY from M0JCF in the CRAY Valley Sunday morning net.
Mike 7IPY returning to Mike 0JCF and the group. All good, yeah. That increasing buzz coming back again, whatever it is. It sounds almost like something's breaking down. And the audio's slightly coarse, but it's a good, strong, punchy signal. So totally readable, absolutely superb. And yeah, I agree. Dave NRI, it's a cracking signal, and it's loud. Maybe it's that new microphone on his whiz-bang 857, a fellow 857D user. That's what I use whenever I go out mobile. I'll keep this one short. I think we covered everything. Doug, G6INU. Yeah, 59 plus 30 to me, so you got no problems there. I think everyone's gone QRP, haven't they, for this net, except me. I'll still use me 25 watts to get up to London. I can reduce it to 5 if anyone wants me to, if I'm causing any problems, but I've left it on 25 for now. And so, thanks Dave, NRH, for running the net. Always a pleasure. It's a nice thing to do when the weather's really groggy here on a Sunday morning when I can't get out on my motorbike. I was supposed to be riding a little 49cc moped through Dover and out towards Sandwich today, but that ride's been cancelled because of the extreme weather they're supposed to be experiencing late in the afternoon. And 49cc against a 59 mile an hour, I think it is, headwind, that's not going to be fun. So it was cancelled, hence the reason I'm here doing the Sunday net on a Sunday. Where else? Thanks again, Dave. I'll pass this one now around to Laurie. Sorry, I missed you out last time, Laurie. My fault. I apologise, and I do an apologising gesture. So, G4FAA to take from Mike 7 India Papa Yankee.
Yeah, 7IPY, Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha, staggering onto his knees, having been on the workshop floor doing something. Yeah, okay, well, thanks, folks, for the various tests. Yeah, nice to hear you and unusual, Doug, on G6INU on 2 meters. You finally got round to stringing up a Slim Jim outside your window. Yeah. Normally, I'm in the upstairs shack at the moment, where all the power is. But normally, I use 3 or 4 watts of Slim Jim at the end of the garden in the downstairs shack. Anyway, hopefully work you on 40 metres one of these days. Soon, hopefully. Now that both the HF setup and the VHF UHF setup has been a badly needed and long overdue overhaul. Right, that's enough for me. Thanks everyone for the signal reports. I'll probably use 5 watts to vertical for the net in the future if I'm not using 50 watts to the Slim Jim from the downstairs shack. So, I'll pass it on and we'll be in touch. Where are we? G0FTP to take. Golf 4, Foxtrot Alpha Alpha.
Yep, okay, Laurie, G4 Foxtrot Alpha Alpha from G0FDP. okay. Then your signal strength still about, what, 2 to 3 with me, with a lot of noise in the background. But not to worry, I can hear what you're saying. That's the main thing. Now, just a little note to Dave the Bass. Will you be at the club on Thursday? If you are, I'll take the stuff for you. But if you're not going to be there, no good. I'll leave it in the hallway where it is at the moment. So if you're going to be there, I'll take it on Thursday with Kieran when he comes to pick me up. So that'll be for there. Right, okay then. And nice to hear you again, Doug. G6INU. Hopefully you can still hear me okay on my handheld, running about 4 watts at the moment, something like that. So I'll put it over to you, then you can pass it back to Dave afterwards. G6INU, Doug, over to you from G0 Foxtrot Delta Papa.
Foxtrot Delta Papa, Golf 6 India November Union. Okay, Frank, yeah, you're about 5 and 6, something like that, Frank. So no problem at all. And very nice. So doing well because I say I'm down in the valley here, and it sort of does go uphill from here towards you, the Delta, but it's not too bad. It's not one of the worst directions. Yeah, well, I say very good morning to everybody, and say good signals all round generally, and no problems whatsoever. I'm just looking at this mic in actual fact. I think you have to talk in the back of it because the buttons, there's multiple buttons on the front, and I've just noticed it's probably talking to the back of the microphone rather than the front, so that might be a bit louder for you, Dave. G6NR8, yeah, round to you, Dave. G6NR8, G6 you in the group. All the best to everybody, and yeah, all the best for 25, gentlemen. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, G6INU, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. I turned the power down to 5 watts. I was running 20 watts. Just make sure I got out on the radio and everything was okay. I appreciate everybody who's popped up today. It's been a fantastic net, as usual. And I like to thank you all personally. I like to thank Mark, Dave, Laurie, Frank, and of course you, Doug. And hopefully we can do this next week. And also, if you possibly can manage it, the 4-metre net on Friday, which starts at 8 o'clock. So, more the merrier. So, I wish there's more people be joining us on this net as well, but I would say 7 threes to everybody. I'll just leave it open just to see who's got last comment before I shut the net down. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel, standing by.
Yeah, a quick over, if you don't mind, from me to Frank, G0 FTP. This is Mike 7IPY. Yeah, Frank, I won't be there this Thursday because there's no meeting this Thursday. The next meeting is the 6th of February. Yeah, Thursday the 6th of February, club meeting, and it says DX Cluster. Martin, M0MDR, is doing a presentation on DX clusters, apparently, which I know nothing about whatsoever, and I'm looking forward to learning that. That's the next time I'll be at the club, because there's not a meeting this coming Thursday, as far as I know. So the next meeting will be a week Thursday. Back to you, Frank.
Yep, okay then, Dave the Bass. Yeah, fair enough. I thought it would have been one this Thursday, but no, it's because it's the last Thursday in January, and I don't normally have one that late in January. But okay, the first Thursday in February, I will come round and I'll bring all the stuff for you, Dave. I've got a few other bits and pieces which you might like as well at the same time. Okay, Dave, back to you from G0FTP.
Mike 7IPY returning. That's brilliant. Thanks again, Frank. Yeah, I think that's about the 4th or 5th Thursday. This coming Thursday will be something like the 4th or 5th, which they only do 1st and 3rd, I think, if I remember, for club meetings. And also, again, thanks in advance for helping me out with the mobile bits and that. I'm putting them to good use, and I'm hoping to go out sometime this week as well. Depends what the weather's like. It was not fun last week. It got very, very, very cold. But boy, do I like going down there. Again, thanks, everyone. It's been a really good net. I'll pass it back to NRH for a final.
Yeah, all appreciated there, Dave. M7IPY, Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel returning. Yeah, I'll say again, thanks for everybody that's joining the net today, and hopefully we'll do it again next week. This is Golf 6 November Romeo Hotel. Close the net down at 11:07.